Welcome to the Overheard podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Rudel. With me always, my co-host,
Matty Rage.
What's good?
Let's go.
Today, we are very delighted to be recording from the Davidson studio, part of the Leighton Artist Studios up at Banff Centre. Thank you so much for having us. This place is beautiful. If it's your first time joining us, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Still, every week we check the analytics, me and Matt. We find about 70% of the people watching the show don't like and subscribe, especially on the subscribe. So every little bit counts.
Yep.
If you guys can help us, just smash that button and help us move this show forward, give you more amazing episodes like we're about to dive into today. Our guest today, Chris Lorway. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming, Chris.
Yeah.
Before we dive too far into things, we'll do a little bit of a bio. So Chris Lorway is the president and CEO from Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity. Has previously an extensive career in some of North America's leading art institutions. He was born and raised in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, with a master's in art administrations from Columbia University and a bachelor's of music from Western University. He worked with Edinburgh Festivals, Jazz at the Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, and the West Kowloon Cultural District, among other high-profile organizations. On returning to Canada in 2007, he was artistic director of the Luminato Festival from 2007 until 2011 as part of its founding team. Also the executive director of Sound Streams from 2012 until 2014. Director of Programming and Marketing at the Corporation of Massey Hall and Roy Thomson Hall from 2014 until 2016. Appointed Executive Director of Stanford Live and Bing Concert Hall in 2016. At Stanford University, he's been responsible for artistic and community programs presented across 4 venues, including more than 200 performances. Incredible resume.
A resume. Let's
A
go.
lot of stuff.
Absolutely. We'll dive into all that into just a little bit. Before we do, we got a little word from our sponsor, so we'll cut to that real quick, Matt, if you don't mind. We'll be right back with you in 20 seconds. This episode is brought to you by the Non-Alc Shaft. If you're looking for a clean energy drink that's gluten-free, vegan, naturally caffeinated with real coffee, perfect for the quick pick-me-up middle of the afternoon, or heck, in the morning when you're on the way to the hill. Be sure to check out the beautiful black non-alc can, sold as singles or as 4-packs down at Townhouse Liquor. I know my fridge is stocked up.
All right, we're back.
We are back. So thanks so much again for joining us, Chris. How's the week been up here at Banff Centre?
Pretty good. It's I think everybody's complaining about the fact that it's June and it feels like winter still a little bit. But other than that, we're working hard and lots of stuff coming up this summer. So we're madly trying to get everything in place to ensure we have a great summer up here.
Nice.
I would agree. Lots of stuff right at our doorstep as far as events for the summer, for sure.
No doubt.
I thought we could start with a little history about the Banff Centre. Maybe if someone's out there who's never heard or know what's going on up here.
Yeah.
Maybe what's the mandate? What's its main objective?
So what a lot of people don't realize is that we're actually a part of the post-secondary education system here in Alberta.
Absolutely.
So we're my colleagues are the presidents of places like University of Lethbridge, University of Calgary, U of A, and some of the colleges, Bow Valley, and others across the region. And so our mandate really is about doing advanced education. In our case, where we're different is that we're not degree granting. We just offer professional training programs, and they can go anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But they are for across the spectrum professional writers, musicians, dancers, opera singers, a little bit of everything, visual artists. And then we also offer these amazing studios like the one we're in today, where artists can come out for longer periods of residency time to make work, whether they're composing a score or making an exhibition for an art gallery or writing a book. This is a great place to hang out and have that sort of solitude for a bit.
It's absolutely amazing up here. I wish the crowd could, or the audience could see what's in front of us here, but we're in an amazing little studio. Awesome Arturia keyboard, nice little baby grand here.
Yeah.
A little setup, and the view out here is amazing. Like you could You could write one heck of a score or an album out here for sure.
And it's like live theater because you have animals. I think
No
someone
doubt.
someone dropped an elk dropped a calf somewhere just off the front of the
Oh,
building.
geez. Oh,
So
crazy.
you just sit and watch all that nature happening right in your
Very
back door.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Very inspiring for sure.
I mean, it's got a very positive vibe going
Yeah,
on in
yeah.
these studios for sure. You can see why it would be so inviting to nature as well.
Yeah.
How's the objective changed over the years of the Banff Centre, right? Like it started, when did it start? It started
1933, so it was
Wow.
actually an extension of University of Alberta.
Okay.
That was before there was even University of Calgary when it was all one system. And what's kind of cool was that a lot of the people who were out in this area were coming from mountaineering regions in like Austria and Switzerland, and,
cool.
or like some of the farming communities in the foothills. And when U of A was trying to expand its programs and said, "What would you like us to bring to your students, your kids?" And they all said arts and culture. That's something we're missing from our European
Cool.
roots. And so that was basically the genesis of the Banff School. We started, if you've been downtown on Banff Avenue and bought a park pass, that was our original school.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And so
At the information building there?
yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that was the Banff Centre through the 30s and 40s, and in that space, they started off with a drama program.
Okay, cool.
But then eventually some painters got involved, and the remit started to expand. And then in the 1950s, we actually moved up here to the side of the mountain and started
Very
the
cool.
campus up in this part
Very
of the.
cool. So the original buildings here were all built kind of around that time then?
Yeah, and they are the chalets that when you come Madsen Path, there's a couple like they look almost like Frank Lloyd Wright style
Right,
buildings, the brown ones. And,
Awesome architect, by the way, if you don't know Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he basically we just actually renovated two of them. We just opened a new Indigenous Cultural Center last week.
Very cool.
Called Ahogi Chipa BT. I'm learning my Stony a little bit.
There you go.
And then also Vincy Hall is where a lot of our writing programs happen. So those were the original chalets on campus.
Beautiful.
Very
So,
cool.
it definitely has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And the infrastructure as well, right? Like,
Yeah, we kept kind of growing and expanding. The studios that you see here, the Leighton Studios, were in the 1970s. As we started to see some funding dropping off from government, we needed to figure out our own way of earning income. So we opened the PDC, the Professional Development Center, which is one of our two hotels, and then eventually the Kinnear Center, and that became a bit of an engine to allow us to pay for all the programs we were doing. I think it was post-Klein cuts in particular that happened.
amazing.
Yeah.
Could you take us through some of the programs that you offer currently, or do they change throughout the season?
Yeah, so our mandate is kind of around three pillars. It's around the arts, leadership, and mountain culture.
Cool.
So in the case of the arts, as I mentioned, we currently have a program happening that started yesterday called Kapishkum, which is a Métis gathering. So
Very cool.
focused on Métis visual artists, and that'll run for 6 weeks.
Nice.
We're right in the middle of our Art of Piano program, where we have pianists from all over the world coming to study with great teachers from Juilliard, the Colburn School, the Royal Academy in London. And then this summer we have an opera and chamber music program. We have a jazz program. And then in addition, we do a whole leadership stream. So we just finished a whole suite of Indigenous leadership programs.
Cool.
And we're also working to relaunch cultural leadership on the site as well, too.
So very involved, like in pretty much all of the arts, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
For those that might not know, what does like a leadership program entail?
So in the case of Indigenous arts right now, we're really focusing on evolving legislation out of truth and reconciliation. So as, for example, there was a bunch of self-jurisdiction around child welfare that was happening that was rolled out a couple of years ago. So we actually brought together all the people who were involved in getting that legislation through and brought them together and put together a curriculum so that we could roll out and teach people in communities how to respond to the new legislation. So all those are intensives. They're about a week long, but they include like courses in negotiation and planning, all business skills and it's very much focused on Indigenous participants as well too.
Cool. Very cool.
So much more than just arts here at the Banff Centre. For those that, especially look at it from like a town of Banff perspective, we just kind of see it as like a place to go see good shows and venues, but it's much, much deeper than that.
Yeah. We have so much going on. And I think, in a lot of cases we're we're a place where we're known throughout the world as this space where artists, it's kind of on a lot of their bucket lists to come and do a residency at Banff.
Absolutely.
And
I can see why.
Yeah. And when I've been fortunate where I've been able to travel a fair bit around the world, and I was in the Uco Valley in Mendoza in Argentina last year.
Oh,
and,
sweet.
And I was said I was from Banff, and they said, oh, we go see the Banff Mountain Film Festival like down the road in the theater here. So,
Oh, great. Oh, so they have it aired there as well.
yeah, we
That's
go
cool.
out to 900 locations around the world. So again,
That's
the
wild.
brand is everywhere. So
That's wild.
Definitely. It does have that brand recognition worldwide. I remember from our experience, even being at the past film festival, bumping into people from all over the world saying the same thing. We come every year. We would not miss it. A real mecca for people in that that realm. But we'll get to that another time. We kind of touched on it a little bit, the Indigenous programs being new. What type of, what goes into, say someone wants to sign up for a program?
Yeah, so it's all open enrollment. So when we announce our programs, you can find out information about we do basically 2 launches, one every fall, usually in September, and then one in the spring around March, April. And that's for programs that are happening over the next 6 months. And they're all open applications. So you can apply, and anybody, we usually get about a third from Alberta, a third from the rest of Canada, a third international.
Cool.
But lots of people from all over the world come to the programs here.
No doubt. Well, that's awesome that you don't have to be in our secondary or post-secondary system already to come in here. You can, you can just apply and it's open.
It's very intergenerational too. A lot of people will come back to Banff Centre when they've already had a career, and they might be mid-career artists or they might be senior artists, and they come back and just want to have that 6 weeks with a group of colleagues to kind of bring the practice,
bring it full circle, and maybe a little extra inspiration up here.
Yeah.
Could you let us know, what are some of the artists that have done that in the past?
Oh, so many people have been through here, both as faculty and also as participants. But some lovely moments like Jeremy Dutcher. I don't know if you know Jeremy, Polaris Prize winner over the last couple of years, Indigenous singer-songwriter.
Cool.
He came here as a participant and then returned.
I think I do know him. Yeah.
Came back as faculty just recently. He was here for a week.
Beautiful. Very cool.
We've had, lots of great people. People like Lawrence Hill spent a lot of time here. The guy who wrote the Book of Negroes. Margaret Atwood spent time here.
Cool.
Jan Martel, Life of Pi.
That's what we heard. Yeah, the boat.
There's rumors that he wrote it in the boat. It depends on who you talk to, but it's one of those great sort of urban legends here.
We got the spiel on the way in. I was there's a boat. And then I was like, whoa. And then they told me that story. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This just keeps getting better. We were only here for 5 minutes?
Absolutely. Seriously, we keep discovering more pieces and little nooks of the Banff Centre as we keep exploring. It's absolutely beautiful.
Well, on that note, because there's a lot of things to do here that aren't actually, I guess, necessarily arts programs, like dining. They got the Sally Board Fitness.
Yeah.
What other kind of amenities are here for people while they stay, or even the locals in town?
Yeah, we are an open campus, so lots of people come up here. So many people come up to walk their dogs through the space.
Yeah.
But I think our most visited thing on campus is Sally Board and Gym. We have a constant parade of gym bros coming up the hill almost on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But it's also, I would say, our Walter Phillips Art Gallery is a great resource to come and check out work that's being a lot of people who are former faculty or participants. We feature their art in the galleries.
Very cool.
Even walking through our buildings, a great thing about our art collection is that we've spread it across campus.
I noticed quite a few pieces, even when we were here for the film festival last year.
Yeah.
Just the hallways are just lined with very cool
work. Yeah. And then, we do have Mac Lab, which is, I think we've won Best Burger for the past couple of years, or tied.
Oh, yeah. We were up there a few months back.
Some tremendous dining up there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're close to, we want to relaunch Three Ravens pretty soon as well, too, which is our fine dining restaurant.
Very cool.
And we're also hoping to get Le Cafe open again, which is that little space that when you're coming out of the gym.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Just to get coffee and grab and go stuff there. So
just renovations, or?
Yeah, we're using some of the resources from G7 that is coming up soon to help us do some of these campus improvements, which is great.
Very
amazing.
Cool. Very cool. So always moving forward.
Yeah. Trying to. Yeah. Plus all the concerts and stuff, as you mentioned.
Wasn't there a new concert venue or a club opened up as well. Club
33, yeah.
33.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Oh, yeah.
33. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have this tendency wherever I go to try to open a club space because I like those sort of intimate rooms where you can do cool stuff.
That's awesome.
So we this summer we'll every Thursday and Friday night starting in late June we'll have performances happening in there. So
Very cool.
Mix of like singer songwriters, DJs. We'll have some open mic nights. Yeah, we should talk about that.
There we go.
Yeah, but it's just meant to be a formal place where artists after shows can hang and just have a beer and just enjoy each other's company. So,
Nice. That's cool. Kind of like a little campus. Well, like I went to Fanshawe. I know you said you went to Western.
Yeah.
Same thing. Every campus kind of has their own little like watering hole. It's just a cool little spot. Always DJs or someone up on stage.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Mac Lab, is a particular experience of
Right.
I call it a little bit like an airport lounge because of all the glass and stuff. But, but I think what people really long for is that sort of dark and dingy club, and so we're trying to recreate that atmosphere.
Very cool. I'm into that. I'm a longtime musician, metal guitarist for years, pianist. Well, play a little bit of piano, but cellist, violinist.
Yeah, awesome.
So I love those spaces. Just somewhere dark, you can grab a beer.
Yeah.
It's just chill out.
It's kind of like counterintuitive to Banff. Like you feel like we're always looking for that view or that like
Right.
sunny
Yeah.
escape. But
Well, you can go
that
up-
dark club is needed.
You can go up to the Mac Lab for that. That is probably the best view in all of Banff.
Yeah.
As far as dining goes, like find me a location where you can have dinner with a better view,
Yeah.
and I'll give you $100.
That's pretty awesome.
Be tough for sure.
Yeah. But what I told the production crew is I said, you have no budget to build this club. And I
Amazing.
want you to I want to make it feel as though it's been there for like 50 years. It's got to have that sort of like grit to it. I
Nice.
didn't want a polished place at all.
I think that's a
I played
great
at a bar
priority.
once that didn't have heat.
Yeah.
It was so cold. Like it just got warmer as people got in there, but it was so cold. Like we had everybody had finger gloves on. You could see your breath on stage. This was inside, mind you, but
Yeah.
that was in London. That was the what's that little club next to the embassy? It was tied into the embassy. It was some little,
been so
some
long.
weird little. It was like a '70s, like really old dingy bar, but very cool vibe. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we were touching on it a little bit earlier, especially about people walking their dogs or kind of recreating around the Banff Centre.
Yeah.
And I know this might be before your tenure here, but we get out of the COVID measures, and I keep biking up here. We're spending time around the Banff Centre, coming to see the beautiful views in the amphitheater, of course. And I'm noticing like it was very slow moving after the pandemic. I was just curious as to like why that was.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't arrive until 2023, so
Yeah.
I kind of came after that. But I think, like anything else, we one of the tough things is, as I mentioned earlier, so much of our business is based on hotel and food and beverage and other things.
True.
And so when all that shuts down, you lose your whole team. And
enough.
that's what happened up here. And I think that was the hardest thing is trying to get those people back in place and that momentum going again. So it just, and again, when you're in a remote area that also is facing a bit of a housing crisis and it's hard to find places to live, it's
100%.
a bit of a perfect storm that made it challenging. But I'm feeling pretty good about where we are now. And
Yeah, like it seems everything's like full back operation.
yeah, it feels really good right now.
Well, even in town,
does
it
for
did
sure.
take quite a while for everything to kind of get back to normal. Like, would we have 96% of town got laid off or something? It was
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I still feel like
Yeah,
late
wow.
night dining, like really late night stuff, still hasn't like bounced back in that huge capacity that it once
Weird.
did, you know?
Yeah.
But who
Yeah, it
knows?
just takes a while, I think. Everyone getting used to being in those spaces again as well, too.
I would agree for sure.
Yeah.
So you take over in 2023
Yeah.
as president CEO. What was your main focus upon taking the reins?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was about trying to get the center back up and running again, and I think also trying to think about it. We're now 8 years away from our 100th anniversary,
Very cool.
so part of my focus right now is how do we ensure that the Banff Centre is set up to deliver what artists and leaders need as we head into our next 100 years. And so our team has really been thinking about that. That in addition to the day-to-day stuff and getting everything up and going, it's about how do you look out and sort of say, what do we need to have? What do we need to be? And one of the things I found when I first got here as well too was that there was amazing facilities, but we had kind of let things like get run down a little bit. So so that's been my other focus is really trying to figure out how to reinvest in buildings. So
We get inherited these buildings again, especially in Banff. It's a very common thing. Like the infrastructure is aging, and due to the nature being a national park, it's much easier and cost efficient to refurbish buildings rather than tear them down and start new.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be problems as far as that goes, but the place is looking great. You got
we're everything's looking pretty good these days. We're really trying to tart up the campus. So.
amazing. What was maybe like your most unexpected thing about maybe life in Banff as a whole, not just at the Banff Centre?
I would say probably how easy it was to settle into mountain life. I'm a city, I grew up in Cape Breton, but the last 30 years have been very much a city boy life where I've been in New York City, I've been in Toronto, I've been in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Cool.
So I was always like right in the middle of everything. And I thought, am I going to go absolutely bonkers, like being in the forest? And it turns out, actually, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, my parents actually said the same thing when I moved out here like 11 years ago. They're like, "Are you sure you want to move it? Like, there's nothing out there, right?" I'm like, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out. Yeah. But yeah, the longer I'm out here, the less I want to be in the city.
Yeah.
It's like I'll go back for an afternoon, but just there's something about it. We talked about that on almost every podcast. It's just a vibe or like a feeling that you can't describe.
Yeah.
It's just something about this place just makes you want to stick around.
Yeah, and even making that drive into Calgary, I'm just like, oh, I just want to be sitting on my porch and looking into the trees.
I hear you. Yeah. It's like, take me back home.
Yeah.
Has that changed anything in your life personally as far as your own creativity or the change of scenery?
I mean, I think like I think it allowed me to slow down a bit,
Okay.
which is always, I think, a good thing. And I'm also, I'm not the 20-year-old living in New York anymore either. So
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
part of it was me needing to slow down a bit, and probably part of it was my body saying, "You need to slow down a little bit." So, but also just being in this zone where you're always able to just go out for a great hike, or in the wintertime to you're so close to so many ski hills to get out and do some skiing. It's pretty awesome.
That's what I tell a lot of people, especially like in my job that I'm serving. They go, "What's the benefit of living here?" It's like everything is on your doorstep. Like even right here, especially in the amenities of the Banff Centre, you want to hike Tunnel Mountain, it's right there. I think like physical activity is a big part of creativity in that sense, right? And I think having access to the outdoors, being able to move your body, huge.
Like Kaylee was saying last week on the podcast, she's like, it just, when you move out here, you come back, you're just kind of inherently thrown into that kind of mountain active lifestyle. Like it's, I mean, you can come out here and not ski and not bike and not hike and still enjoy it. But for a lot of people, that's kind of, you just get drawn into it because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like,
even going to town, the hike up the hill is
the hike up here is you get your cardio on the way up to the gym. That's for sure.
100%. So leadership in the arts comes with both cultural and economic responsibility. And I think we see that in the Banff Centre. You guys are known for putting on tons of free events, especially for locals, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. How do you walk that tightrope between obviously promoting art and giving stuff away for free and the financial responsibilities of running a world-renowned program?
Good question.
It's just like anything else. You just need to know your financial model really well and figure out, again, what you're going to do within a given year and how you're going to approach programs. We have a lot of our programs come directly out of our public-facing events come out of the programs that are happening here. So, like the next 2 days, we'll have student showcases of our pianists who are here doing the piano program.
Very cool.
And so that's a great opportunity for an audience to come up for free and to see what students are actually doing up here.
And also putting students in front of an audience, right?
Exactly.
So it's kind of a win-win situation.
That's always a tough gig. Well, I mean, if you're up here, you've probably played in front of people before. If you're performing at you know what I mean? If you're performing at Banff Centre, you've generally had your foot in front of at least a dozen people or so. But very cool.
But even when you guys came up to see the Illusionist show earlier this year, cool. For the makers of that show, getting in front of an audience and figuring out how they respond to stuff is part of the creative process. So for them, it was as valuable for them to
no doubt
have you guys there and to see like what when you're going to applaud, when you're going to laugh. So it helps it build it into their psyche as they're building up.
That was show. As far as like timing and that, right? Okay, that makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Well, it's especially a show like that. It's so dependent on the crowd, right? So. Yeah, you need to get a little feeler out there before you go out and do that live, I guess.
That show was
mind-blowing.
Incredible. I was sitting there trying to debunk it the whole time, and then at one point someone we knew gets called up as a volunteer, and I'm like, "Hey, now I'm now I'm out."
We were picking our brains the whole time. We're like, this can't be real. It's actually happening right now.
But amazing. It's pretty cool. Like, how does it feel for you to see something come from its infancy, like something that was made here, all the way to its first show in front of a live audience?
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about here, and the great thing for the local community as well too is they get to see things before they go on to other places.
Right.
So last fall, that show started actually out here in one of the Leighton studios in the Painter House. And so they spent the director Scott and the production designer spent a week basically conceiving the show, just like almost like on a whiteboard.
Okay.
And then this spring they came and they started to put it all into the theater and do all the technical work. And again, I saw the 4 performances that they did in a row. We did one for staff and then one for you guys and then another one.
Cool.
And the evolution of the show over those 3 performances was pretty astounding.
Really?
And now like we have that whole team is now headed to Sydney to do a month-long run
That's
at the
right.
Opera House. But Banff audiences got to see it before anybody else did, before the world
Like,
premiere.
how cool is that, right? Like, locals, you just get to come up. You're like, oh, this is going to be a world touring show. Like,
Right?
they're debuting in Sydney, Australia. So you go there, or you
Yeah.
come up to the Banff Centre, hang out with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Could you share with us maybe the changes between the first show and the 4th show? Like,
Well, the first show, they didn't even get through it.
Okay.
They got to, there wasn't even an ending. Graham, who was the director, literally came out and said, all right, that's as far as we've got. And that was the end of that first one.
amazing. So like a real trial run in that sense.
Yeah. So they spent the next day trying to figure out the ending. But Scott, I think, was pretty stressed because he just, again, he's trying everything out for the first time. He doesn't know how it's going to go, whether everything's going to work. And
Absolutely.
it's a stressful moment, but at the same time, it's so critical in the development of the show to see what happens when you actually put things in front of an audience and you have that pressure of having to keep going.
I mean, the performance is basically him monologuing the entire time. Even when the younger actor comes on, he's monologuing. And I was like, very, very captivating in his monologues, by the way. If you're out there listening, big, I take my hats off to you. That's
Well, even the
fantastic.
stage production of that was cool. Like, the lighting and the
Forest. And the
yeah,
trees.
it was
beautiful,
very
yeah.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
it was very cool setting.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Being a Banff local, I've always heard of the connection between the Canadian recording artist Blue Rodeo and the Banff Centre.
yeah.
So what is the connection? Is there any still?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So Michael Code, who was our senior vice president for many years, and he just retired in December. He had been friends, I think, with Greg Keeler. I think even before Blue Rodeo was a well-known band.
Oh, okay.
And so that friendship held, and I know Kurt, who used to be our head of programming up here, who's now at the Legion downtown, a fellow Cape Bretoner. He brought the band up quite a few times, both in the old Eric Harvey Theater, now the Jenny Bellsberg, but also into the AMP space.
Right.
And I think the guys were always really great because not only did they come and do a show, but I think they made it a bit of a family vacation, and they would stick around and enjoy the mountains a little bit. So
A bit of business and pleasure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
mix it a little bit of both.
nice. Because I've always heard this like Blue Rodeo loves it here, all this stuff, and it's really awesome. I'm a Blue Rodeo fan myself.
Yeah,
I've seen
me
them
too.
probably at least a handful of times, I would say.
Nice.
Can we expect them back at the Banff Centre anytime soon? Or
yeah, no, we've had a couple of chats with them. I think they were. I know they're coming through the West Coast this fall, and unfortunately, we had some of our big theater shows up in the Bellsberg this fall, so we couldn't make that work. But we are definitely talking to their team, and I know they want to come back. So as soon as we can, we'll get them back on the mountain.
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Keep us posted for sure. I'm coming up to that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them up here for like.
It was probably just pre-pandemic, so like
Yeah,
2019 or something.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
that.
Yeah, it would have been around then.
Yeah.
And again, like with, I guess, especially big name artists canceling all those shows during the pandemic, rebooking all this stuff. I think people are probably just catching up now on all that backlog of scheduling and all that.
That makes sense.
Banff itself, I think we could all say that it's more seen as like a touristy destination.
Yeah.
How would you describe its artistic identity as far as like the Banff Centre or Banff in a whole?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing things in the Bow Valley, and a mix of people who are doing, whether it's summer stock theater or things like the Bow Valley Winds, or obviously these established organizations like the White Gallery.
Okay.
There's that sort of connection, I would say, between the arts and mountain culture in particular.
No doubt.
And that's even part of our legacy. A lot of the painters, like W.O. Mitchell, who's one of the first painters who did stuff up here, like they were very much painting the mountains and the lakes and
Makes
the scenery. So for me, I always kind of go back to that. I would say for the way we layer into it is we sort of bring that overlay of the international, But even those international artists who come into Banff can't help but be inspired by the environment that they're in and find themselves, responding directly to it. We
Very cool.
2 examples last year. We had a guy named Raven Chacon, who's an Indigenous musician from, I think he's from the Albuquerque area.
Okay.
And he did an amazing piece actually all around these the studios out here, where he had a bunch of musicians with microphones and handheld speakers, actually creating a soundscape based on sounds they were hearing directly in nature and just amplifying
Very
them.
cool. Very cool.
So that was very much of the land.
Very Bjork-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had Rebecca Belmore, her piece speaking to their mothers, which is the big megaphone you might have seen on the second floor of the Kinnear Centre.
Oh, okay.
And that was, we took that out to Two Jack Lake and set it up and had a bunch of artists sort of speaking their monologues or singing music into the megaphone.
Beautiful.
And it was bouncing, like, it was literally, you heard the land speak back through the echoes.
That's cool.
So we have lots of, I think we try to get people to really think about
super
the space
interesting
they're in.
concept.
Yeah.
Definitely, like using the landscape as almost an amplifier for your message. That's
Exactly,
very, very deep for sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
No doubt. What a
Would
cool
you say
spot.
the Banff Center's the Banff Center as itself, do you think it mirrors Banff's local artistic spirit, or do you think it kind of cultivates its own creative ecosystem in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I hope that there's that mix of the two, and again, we've been trying to figure out ways, whether it's the school concerts we do at Christmas time or hosting the Bow Valley Winds or others, and even in our AMP sessions we did, although we haven't got the full amphitheater setup going yet. For the last couple of years, we've been inviting local artists to come up and perform up here.
Very cool.
And I think there's there is that rich sort of, like, I would say, singer-songwriter culture within the Bow Valley.
Oh, for sure.
And so again, we do have a couple programs, and I know some of those local residents have participated in those. But it's a way of, again, trying to connect as much as we can to what's happening locally in the community.
Speaking locals, what do you find are some of the misconceptions maybe that locals have about the center or its programs, or what goes on up here?
I mean, I think it's evolved in so many ways over the years that people associate it with particular times or eras, and then wonder why we don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that's the challenge about how you move things forward without Banff Ball being one example. Like, there used to be this 3-day event that happened that a lot of people thought was the thing that they had to come to.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, and it was right in the middle of our busiest period in the summertime. So when I got here and we came out of COVID, we revisited that and said, let's just do something that's a bit more focused as an event every year. But I think in all those cases, the other thing that comes up, I think, a lot is about, like, why aren't we offering programs for kids? And again, it goes back to our funding source. We're like a post-secondary organization, so we're not a high school or training program for kids in that
I've
sense.
done post-secondary twice. I've never seen a kid in my classes.
Well, I think at some point you have to focus your resources too, right? You can't just be appealing to absolutely everyone. What is one of the ways, maybe if there's a local artist out there listening, that they can get involved in a program?
I think just as I mentioned, keep your eye open for our announcements twice a year, September and March, and see if there's a program that fits your particular artistic practice and throw in an application.
And I did see online as well that there is scholarships and funding opportunities available as well, so you can explore those if that's...
Yeah, almost all of our programs through longstanding endowments are free if you get in as a participant, and we cover 50% of room and board. Although if you're a local, you probably don't need the room and board piece. So it's a good deal.
I mean, if you want to cover 50% of my room and board, oh, too good.
So what's going on? We're moving into the summer. What do we have as far as events leading into the summer festival? And is there like a theme or focus for this summer?
Yeah, I mean, what we were trying to do is really look at, because it's no secret, in 2 weeks we have the G7 up here. So we wanted to look at ways, as we spun off into the summer, thinking about the idea of the Banff Centre as a gathering place for cultures around the world, and how do we tell those stories. So we kicked off the summer earlier with a great program called Sound Weavings, which is where Jeremy Dutcher came up to do particular one. But we had Indigenous artists from Australia. We had musicians from Iran. So this whole idea of, like, people coming together and using music as a way to find connections with one another was a great way to sort of launch that whole summer festival. Coming up after we get through G7, right now we're in the middle of Indigenous Peoples History Month, so we have lots of events that are happening. And because of the activity that's happening up here, we're actually spreading it out into the community. So we have events at the White Museum and out in Arts Place as well too in Canmore. Nice. But also tomorrow night we have Leela Gilday coming, the singer-songwriter, which is going to be an amazing night at the Margaret Greenham.
Very cool.
And then we roll into opera and chamber music, and we'll have our big signature piece in that is the production of The Handmaid's Tale, the Margaret
very cool.
Atwood novel. So that'll be our opera this year.
That'll be wild.
I just saw the ads for that actually, and I think that'll probably be a lot of people out there interesting to see that adaptation of The Handmaid's Tale, because obviously we know its success through popular streaming services.
Yeah, the Netflix series.
So.
And then, we roll into jazz and sonic arts. All in the background, we also have literary and visual arts programs in as well, too. So campus is going to be humming this summer, and then we cap off the summer with our Banff International String Quartet competition.
Yes. Oh, that's sick.
And that's another one, like the film festival, one of our most important and well-known brands.
A competition.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of quartets just dueling it out?
Yeah, so basically the best, we found the best emerging 10 quartets in the world. And they'll come here for 10 days, and they'll be engaged in a series of. They'll do different programs of different styles of music and compete against each other. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come up for that.
It's a really cool event, actually.
That sounds awesome. Just a quartet competition.
Yeah,
never thought I'd hear that.
Honestly, as we dive more and peel more layers back about the Banff Centre, it's why I was so excited for this conversation. Is there's so much going on up here at all times. So if you're ever looking for a show and you're tired of that downtown scene.
No doubt.
Come up to the Banff Centre.
There's probably something going on if you come up, no doubt. That's
Speaking of the venues, the Shaw Amphitheater, right? How would you say, like, as a audience perspective, how does that outdoor feel, you think, change the vibe of the show or the way maybe the audience member takes it in?
We did a really cool thing last year with a guy named Hunter Nowak who did a program called In Landscapes. We had a grand piano like out on the stage.
Amazing.
Oh, cool.
And all the audience members had like Sennheiser earphones on, and so they could wander around the amphitheater and just listen to the music. But what it did is that the name of his show was In a Landscape, and it was really about, he does it in national parks all around the North America. But I think in general, that backdrop, whether it's, here, whether it's Red Rocks, it adds a whole other layer of experience to when you go see a show. If you're able to sit out and see that amazing landscape around you,
of course.
So last year, as I mentioned, we did some small shows, and in this coming year, we're going to ramp it up a little bit. We'll have a bigger stage and do some larger artists, but again, more focused on Calgary and local-based groups, with the idea of next year, hopefully building up to at least probably a 2-week festival where we'll celebrate some of the bigger acts and start bringing some bigger things back. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
amazing. So onwards and upwards seems to be the trajectory up at Banff Centre for sure.
Incrementally. You don't want to overextend ourselves. We want to take our time, make sure we get it right.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And it seems like you're well on your way, definitely.
Yeah.
What can we expect as far as AMP sessions? We got tons of free events, right? These are free concerts put on for locals. What are some of the names that are coming by? And when do they start? They start...
I think there are 3 dates in July and 1 date in August.
Amazing.
And I know we're still confirming things, so I don't think we actually have names official yet. But
fair.
Stay tuned, check out the website, and you'll find out all the details there.
Because we'll be there. You might see us with our new mobile setup, checking out some of the AMP sessions. I think we're going to definitely come and do some boots on the ground stuff. I think for that would be kind of fun for sure.
We do have a cool weekend coming up, which is probably worth noting as well too, on the 27th and 28th. Of June. It's the end of Indigenous Peoples History Month, and we have we're opening a new gallery show called Elliptical Lineages, which is all about families who are art practitioners. So it's all around kin. So whether it's brother, sister, mother, father, grandfather, grandson, like these groups of people who have made art together. So you'll see works from both.
Okay, very nice.
Which will be very cool. And then after that, there's a great duo from Calgary called Ghost Keeper, which is kind of a club act.
I've been seeing those acts as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So they're going to be in the club space.
Beautiful.
Oh, cool.
And then the next morning, we're going to have the community open house for our new Indigenous Cultural Center, so people can wander up the hill and check it out. We've had some great art commissioned, and we're hoping to have some of the artists who are there to talk with people about what they've done. So it'll be a good, nice weekend, actually.
Nice little opening, yeah. Let's go.
Amazing. So that'll be the opening for the cultural center and the club.
Cultural Center Club, yeah, and also the exhibition in the gallery. So
Right
lots
on.
of
So
stuff going on. Yeah.
we should probably come down for that there.
Busy
man.
week. Oh, yeah, we'll have to come
It'll be
on.
an awesome little weekend.
Heck yeah.
Where do you see the Banff Centre heading into the future beyond what we've discussed today? What's kind of your broader vision?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we're only 8 years away from 100. So we're trying to think about what are some of those big aspirational things we can do as we head there. And again, I'm trying to focus really on investing in what we have. One of the areas in which we were famous for, which we've slipped, has been in the sort of new media recording production area, filmmaking, digital media. And so we have the Gene and Peter Lougheed building, and we're working on a business plan right now to re-envision what that space could be at this particular moment in history. So lots of ideas bubbling there about how we bring all those levels back. We just put a Dolby Atmos surround immersive sound studio in there for mixing.
That'd be sweet.
So as part of our audio engineering program, we have people training in that. But spatial audio is something that I'm very interested in as well too.
Right.
And trying to figure out how we might integrate that even into performance and staging of work. So
Well, right, because there's so many good events. If we can like record, maybe have something available to a broader, like, I don't know. I feel like there's just so much going on up here that there would be a way to
I was actually
capture that.
part of it was so random. It was an artist that was up here doing a course, and she wanted to have a metal band do a song, and with like the whole band, we were in a hardcore band. So mind you, Channing was in this. There was 5 of us, all in like full head to toe green screen suits, and it was just our heads and our hands that were like out. And we had to we played through the song like probably like 10, 15 times. She just shot it from all these different angles. It was for I don't even know what it was. It was like a music video that it was one of our songs, but she wanted us to make the lyrics as like reviews for the product. It was just something weird. So it was just it was just like about reviewing like crappy Amazon products. We were all like, it was just funny. Like we're in this giant studio, all 5 of us in these like skin tight green screen suits, just jamming out hardcore metal. Yeah, it was awesome, but very cool spot though.
yeah.
Well, one of my questions, maybe that's kind of come to me as we've been discussing, like we've talked about like jazz, classical music, opera. Is there any like genres or any art that the Banff Centre won't touch? Like,
I don't think so. No,
You know?
because so many of our people don't, I think, fall into those neat categories anymore.
yeah, like
They're kind of doing a little bit of everything, and so we want to be able to provide the space and the facilities and the resources to allow them to kind of do whatever they want to explore. So
I think the whole
Very cool.
creativity thing is what stands out to me in the whole name, especially. It seems like this whole place is just a big think tank for ways to produce art and how we can do more of it, which
exactly.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. It's a cool place to go to work every day.
100%.
Yeah, I couldn't complain without walking up here every morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like, look at this place, man.
yeah,
Even walking through here, we went from a parking lot into the middle of the forest into these tiny little crazy outfitted cabins to shoot our podcast today. Like, what a better opportunity, right? Like, where are you going to get this anywhere else?
yeah. No, it's a very unique spot, and
doubt.
and we're really again lucky to have what we have, and we're
Right.
hoping to continue to invest in that and to make it even better for artists of the future.
Very cool.
Amazing.
I'm into it.
Any closing thoughts or anything maybe we missed today that you want to share with our audience?
No, I thank you guys for making the trip up the hill.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Lord.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, and as you said, there's pretty much any day of the week when you walk up here, there's something going on. So I think we have lots of our colorful brochures and flyers kicking around town.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So grab one, have a look, and come hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just for people that are up here. Like the locals, it's like you said, it's an open campus.
Yeah.
You can come up here anytime you want and tour around and check stuff out. It's like seems pretty welcoming to me. So
Yeah.
You know, if you have people visiting and you're looking for something to do, walk around with your coffee. Like you said, there's art installations all over the campus. Come and have a walk around, get yourself a coffee or a bite to eat at MacLab, and enjoy it for sure. I know we have, that's for sure. We look forward to enjoying it more. I think that's all the time we have for today. We want to thank you so much for coming in and talking to us, or having us here and talking to us, not coming in.
My pleasure.
Big thanks to Banff Centre for hosting us. Big thanks to Drink Shaft for keeping us fueled and caffeinated.
let's go.
Who else? Big thanks to our audience. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done it already, hit the like and subscribe button. We hate having to remind everyone, but people keep lurking in the background and not subscribing. So
sketchy.
Please do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to head up here. Like we said, tons of amazing nightlife stuff, good restaurants coming off. Thanks everyone for listening. Every week.
Thanks, guys.
See you next Tuesday.